Ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. Hey, welcome. It's the weekly webinar. Glad to be with you tonight. It is Wednesday, the 11th of March 11th, right here. How about that? Pretty great. How's the weather by you? We're doing okay here. We're doing okay. I'm in rural, as we say, rural upstate New York, and it's been rather great the last couple of days. But we know that'll change. that will change. I am a doctor of chiropractic for 33 quick years. A couple millions of adjustments under these hands. Over probably about the last decade, especially the last 5 years, I've really seen a dramatic change in the way that America actually looks at aging. It's no longer seen as just a normal process in life. It is now trying to be a diagnosis of a pathology for you to have so many years on you. It's trying, some of the leaders in the longevity realm. No, I don't consider myself to be one of those. I'd like to think I was, but I don't think I am. Some of the leaders in the longevity realm, some of them have written some big books that you have followed, you've read, and people look at them and say, oh, they're trendsetters. They're trying to get aging to be diagnosed as a pathology, because then you can treat it. Instead of saying there are certain things you do that will absolutely accelerate your aging, no doubt about it. First of all, I don't know if you can slow down aging. I don't know if you can actually do that. I'm sure in mice it's been done, but a lot of things have been done in mice that have not followed through to be beneficial for humans. I think they've seen a change metabolically and possibly on the cellular level that mice have positively regressed. Here's the tough thing about that. Mice aren't then sitting in front of a computer for hours every day watching just stupid ass shit. Mice aren't sitting in front of computers on a regular basis. They're actually they can walk around and do stuff. They aren't intentionally feeding themselves really just toxic foods. Mice aren't just sitting in front of a computer all day. They aren't feeding themselves toxic foods, watching toxic TV, reading toxic things, and becoming massively toxic. They aren't doing those things. So when you look at that, I look at those studies and say, massively unrealistic. Massively unrealistic. Because humans do those things. Humans sit in front of computers for hours on end, just scrolling through stuff. Humans sit in front of the TV, just mindlessly watching, feed themselves just toxic food. And I can do another 6 hours just on how there is a whole industry that doesn't care what you eat. They don't care how sick you get from the food that they are making. But there are people in the profession, in the longevity game, who tell you that you can slow down aging. I don't know if you can slow down aging. This is just my part. I don't know if you can slow down aging or you get to the pace you were supposed to be at. Maybe maybe the aging we have is actually us getting back to the rate of aging we're supposed to, instead of the massive acceleration that we have because of lack of motion, lack of emotion, lack of nutrition, poor sleep that does not allow us to repair, to heal, and adapt. Those things we know will absolutely accelerate us. Zoom, bam, right down the highway. We know those things will happen. If we don't do those things, I don't know if we slow down the aging process, but I do think we get back to the rate we're supposed to be. I know it sounds very sexy. I know it sounds very sexy to say we're going to slow down the aging process, but you have to go on a mitotic and meiotic divisional cellular division slowdown. You actually have to watch that slow down. I don't know if we do that. I don't know if that'll be good. I don't know if that will be good overall. It's thought to be, but we don't know. But there are people in the profession, in the longevity game, who are trying to tell you that the aging, one of the biggest problems we have is that people age. It's not that we age. It's our lack of health that we didn't have. We didn't care for ourselves during these decades. And then we expect that these decades are going to be great, although we didn't set up the foundation down here. So let's be realistic. Let's take the first 20, 25 years. We're still learning. World, if even you're 25, you got 75. You're at 1/4 of your life. That next 2/4, the next half of life is where we should be setting up the last quarter. This half right here is where we should be setting up just pure rocket fuel. You can either promote inflammation or prevent it. You can either promote cancers or prevent them. You can either promote you aging quicker and having more consequences, more diseases, or you can prevent them. Which one do you want to do? Which one do you want to do? That doesn't seem like that's tough of a question for me. And some people say, well, I would love to do the second one, of course, but remember Pee Wee Herman? It says, always, everybody's always got a big butt. Everybody's always got a big butt when it comes to this. This ain't rocket surgery, folks. This ain't rocket surgery. Which one do you choose? Yeah, well, I don't. What I want to do is I still want to eat all the crap I eat, and I still don't want to move. I saw yesterday in the paper, in our local paper. I don't have it here with me. I saw in our local paper that the headline was, and I couldn't read it because I almost put my head through the wall. The headline was, "If your doctor prescribed fruits and vegetables, would you eat them?" Are you freaking kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? You would have to be prescribed something that you can walk into every grocery store here. You can walk into and get them. You're going to have to be prescribed. The headline was, if your doctor prescribed fruits and vegetables, would you eat them? I couldn't even read it. I would have put my head through the window, smashed my head right through the wall. Are you kidding me? You can walk into any store you want to, everywhere, any grocery store, anywhere. There are fresh fruits and vegetables right there. You'd have to be prescribed them. Is that what our health has come to? That we have to be prescribed fruits and vegetables? Freaking kidding me. It's just bizarre. I'm going to read that tomorrow on my Facebook Live I have in the morning. I'm going to read that tomorrow on it. You got to be kidding me. Do we have to have people prescribed moving? Something that you can do freely on your own so that you'll go do it? How would it seem if someone said, oh man, Otto, why are you eating so many fruits and vegetables now? Why are you eating any now? Well, my doctor prescribed them. They did what? They prescribed them. Prescribed what? The fruits and vegetables. Who did? My MD. I went and saw him the other day. I had a physical. Prescribed fruits and vegetables. You mean like in a pill form? No, like go to the store and get fruits and vegetables. Like in a juice or something? No, fruits and vegetables. Told me get those. Prescribe them to me. You 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 couldn't do that on your own? Well, you prescribed them to me. You couldn't do those on your own. They're prescribed. What am I missing here? What am I missing? Am I missing something here? You got to be kidding me. Someone would have to be prescribed fruits and vegetables. They're thinking that people would more Americans would eat fruits and vegetables if they were prescribed. Well, they've done a really good job with the medications, the pharmaceuticals. We honk those things down like they're good for us. The average American fills over 13 prescriptions a year. How are we doing on that? Honking them down, honking them down. I haven't had a prescription in years. The last prescription I had was for that super colon blow stuff they give you for the colonoscopy. So I haven't had, I don't get prescriptions. That means there's some guy in Passaic, New Jersey. He's swicking down, 30 of them a year. Holy cow. So get back to it. I don't know if we on a cellular process, if we can actually slow down the aging process. I do know we can accelerate it. Why are cigarettes still being sold? I have no idea. Don't tell me that because some people are making money off it. Do you know how much money you and I spend for the people to smoke? Why is food that is in the grocery store that we know has no nutritional factor whatsoever, why is that allowed to be sold? I don't know either. Especially to kids. We should have a no, you're not. We should have a no, you're not allowed to eat this until you're 25 section. Which then, of course, make kids want to eat it more, of course. Yeah, I know. But so I don't know if we can actually slow down the aging process. I do know we can accelerate it. I do know we can accelerate it. But in that, you look at this and say, okay, if we can accelerate it, then what do we got to do to not accelerate it? Just get back to our normal path. Instead of doing that, we're like, okay, a normal healthy path. What can we do there? Well, you're going to hear me say many things, but there's a commonality to health and there's a commonality to disease. There's a commonality to health and there's a commonality to disease. If I asked you, would you please give me the top 5, 6, 7, 10 things you could do to make sure we're as healthy as possible over here, we could do that. What would they be? Yeah, you'd make a list. You'd say, I'm going to eat well. I'm going to eat well. I'm going to eat fresh fruits and vegetables, even though they're not prescribed. Holy cow. Eat fresh fruits and vegetables. I'm going to do those things. I'm going to eat well, organically as possible. I'm going to make sure I get just great freaking sleep. I'm going to become a sleep miser. I am a sleep miser. Number 3, I'm going to make sure I have daily motion. I love to lift. I'm not great at it. I'm not a male model. I'm never going to be a male model. Never, opportunity was never there. But I lift because I freaking feel great when I do it. I love putting a good cardio buzz on too. I exercise for the buzz. So I'm going to move. I'm going to make sure that I have mental, emotional rest and focus. Mental, emotional rest and focus. That means sometimes I put that over there. I listen. I meditate. I pray. I go for walks in nature or I listen to instrumental music like jazz and symphonic music, stuff like that. For me, it's my wife calls it planetarium music. Planetarium music. It does sound like a planetarium. But you do those, and then you're able to engage. So you rest the brain, then you engage, you focus it, you work, do stuff, you think. that I make sure this nervous system is optimized, not good, optimized. Because when you add on those other four things, they do work better because your nervous system is functioning better because I test it through heart rate variability. So we're going to do these 5 things over here as much as possible on a regular basis. And when you don't do those things, this list over here, you accelerate the aging. Aging's not the problem. Because if it was, the rest of the world would die like us, but the rest of the world doesn't die like us. We die like Americans. If you want to live like an American, you're going to die like an American. That's one of the biggest conundrums that people have with foreigners or when they come over to America. When immigrants want to come to America and I want the American dream. When immigrants come to America, they want the American dream. Here's the wild thing. Then they start to adapt American lifestyle. If you want to live like an American, then you got to die like an American too. And that ain't great. That's not part of the American dream. You didn't sign up for that. All the immigrants that come from all the countries, they want to come to America because they know that's the land of opportunity. It's a land of opportunity. I'm going to go there for the American dream. And they start to adopt the American lifestyle. The worst thing about it is if you want to live like an American, then you got to die like an American too. And that stinks. That stinks. You didn't sign up for that part. There's that little writing down here at the very end. Like when they have side effects of being an American. You got to die like an American. Side effects of being an American. Side effects of the American dream. You have to die like an American. Honking down the number of prescriptions a year. Not living, not laughing, not loving, not squeezing the juice out of life nearly enough. It's not the aging process is the problem. Is that we Americans have screwed up the process so dramatically. It's incredible. We've screwed up the process. I'm okay not running the 100-yard dash in whatever seconds I used to. I used to run the 220 back in junior high school, whatever. I'm not going to run it in whatever it was, 24 seconds, 25 seconds. I don't know what it was. I know I'm not going to run it like that. I'm still going to run it. I like it when concerts start earlier. I don't like it when they start at 9. I like it when they start earlier. Happy hour concerts are the best. I like those things because I like going to sleep early. I like getting my rest and sleep so I can be productive the next day, so I can think and crush tomorrow. Age is not the problem. It's all the shit we do along the way that makes aging the problem. Aging isn't the problem. It's all the stupid shit we do along the way. That's the problem. Thinking we can get away with it by eating all those things, not moving, not thinking, not having mental rest and focus. Aging isn't the problem. It's all the stupid stuff we done along the way that's the problem. And the stupid stuff is not the fun stuff. It's understanding that there's a whole industry out there who doesn't care what we do. They don't care how diseased we get. They don't care. So I don't care about them. Eat rocket fuel. You can either promote cancer or prevent it. Which one do you choose? You move on a daily basis. Not only for your body, but for your brain too. You get great sleep, mental rest and focus. That makes sure your nervous system is optimized. You add those 5 things together. Now you have the secret sauce for great aging. That's the secret sauce for great aging. Thanks for coming to the weekly webinar. Aging's not the problem. Never was.